Greetings from Pittsburgh. The Las Vegas Feminine Hygiene Products are in town tomorrow for a little skirmish with the six-time champion Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's a thing. So you're a person who graduated from Dryden in the class of 1980, and you're living in the Hawaiian island chain on the island of Kamanawanalea, and you're working on your thatched roof, and you just got a long day in the mangroves, and you're back in your hut enjoying your poi. You just happen to come across your high school yearbook, and you see a picture of one Phil Bache, and you're thinking to yourself, what did that punk from the east side of the tracks in Freeville, what did he do with his life? What did he become? What happened to that guy? He was so well-mannered in school and always had the same kind of haircut and played a little saxophone, didn't really stick out that much. Was more or less well-liked by, most people. What did he do? Did he scale mountains? Did he, redesign a Pez dispenser? What did he do with his life? Well, today you get to find out. On this episode of Get Off Our Lawn, Dave and Dave interview Phil Bache to find out what he did after we walked off the football field in 1980. So enjoy. Lots of funny stuff, little shenanigans. We had a great conversation with Phil. It was a lot of fun. So here you go.
Oh, my Lord!
So, folks, welcome to this version of the Get Off Our Lawn podcast. As always, I have my cohort, Dave Seymour, with me. He is the fruit to my loop. He's the lucky to my charms. He's the honey to my nut Cheerios. He's also known for playing the pan flute in the off-Broadway of Peter Pan. So, hi, Dave. How's everything going on there in North Carolina?
It's in the frying pan right now. We're still wrapping up summertime, and it's oscillating between steamy and tropical.
Hey,
it's a fine line, I'll tell you.
That's a band name right there. Steamy and tropical, or a country tune, yeah.
Tropical steamy. What was that movie with the guy that was Tropic Thunder?
Tropic Thunder.
Was that right?
It's one of my favorite comedies. Even though I know a lot of people don't like it, but I laugh so hard at that movie. I just laugh so hard at that movie.
Indeed.
Philip's iPad.
But I go, hey.
Oh,
Can you see me now?
That's a little bit better. There we go.
We can hear you and see you now.
Wow.
Oh, that's a scary thought altogether.
Yeah. So we have with us on our podcast, Mr. Phil Bache, retired New York State Trooper, formerly 1980 class president, which I can't wait to talk about, by the way.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, now hold on here.
You said no problem. I'm not counting that.
Hold on. I know that I'm second choice here because Sherry Case Crispell was on before me. So I know that you got all the good scoop already.
Technically, you're with third because we asked Lori Munson first. So
hey, and she put you down?
No, she scheduled us for later, October. She's got some stuff going on, so she's scheduled for later. That's why.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine.
So what we typically do is when we have our class of 80 guests on, we try to find out for people that haven't seen us and don't know what's going on in our life. Try to get people updated on what's happened since we walked off the football field in 1980. So it's a simple thing. You can tell us as much as you want and tell us not as much as you want. You can delete, you can whatever you want. We're just trying to find out what Phil has done since 1980 up to now. Then we'll go into our Comedy Central part of this whole thing.
Well, you're asking an awful lot. I am getting older, and it's a little more difficult to remember what I had yesterday, much less 41 and a half
years
years
ago now.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you can
What's up with
you
that?
can give us a basic outline of something you did.
We know you were doing in something somewhere for 40 years.
Yes.
I was breathing and eating for that 40 years. How's that?
We can tell.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Hey!
can.
Hey! He's here all week.
Aren't we all, right?
Yeah, living large, man. So let's see. All right. So walked off the football field at graduation. I'm like, what the hell am I? Oh, I actually knew what I was gonna do. I'm one of your 8 subscribers here, so I checked the podcast out so I could at least be somewhat a little informed what's going on here. I'm looking at my yearbook horoscope there, or whatever you want to call it, prophecy, and it says, man, that's pretty damn boring, but yeah, I did it.
That was pretty pithy. Yeah, I read that tonight. That was pretty pithy. Pretty bold statement.
What did it actually say?
2-year college, New York State Trooper. That's me.
That was it.
So yeah, I had no humor. I was pretty focused, and I don't know. I remember having fun in school, but that looked a little lame to me. But all right, maybe I'm lame.
Where did you go to school?
So right out of high school, I went to TC3. I took criminal justice. Big waste of my time. But I met a couple of guys that I would work with. Actually, one of the guys I worked for as a sergeant in the state police. He was taking classes there, and a couple other guys that were cops, and of course all of our friends from high school that kind of used TC3 as the springboard to their future
stepping point to the future. Now that's interesting because you went 81 to 82 to TC3.
Yeah.
I was there at the exact same time.
Yes, you were. Absolutely were. But you were at the other end of the hall. I was in the sociology and the criminology and all that kind of stuff. But I think we did the I want to say it was the Ralph Shortell. Remember him?
Yep, I remember Ralph. He had the white sort of curly hair.
Yes.
He looked like Jeff Markell with a perm.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was doing the student activities thing.
Right.
And somehow I got mixed up into that and was doing some of the movies, picking the movies out that they showed there at TC3 and some of that silliness.
Well, the reason I asked that, and I have this quizzical look on my face, was I was involved with that movie stuff too.
Yeah, I remember that, but you don't. So
I don't. Here's what I remember. Right? Remember that?
Check the CO2 monitor in your house.
Well, that I should.
Good one.
And so, because there's a little story about that because we showed the movie. It was Friday the 13th for Halloween one year.
Yeah.
We were in that big auditorium, with the square stage and the round tables around it, right?
Yep.
And I had seen Friday the 13th at that point, and I was up in the catwalk, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I had a cafeteria tray with me. And then there's this table of young ladies enjoying the movie, very engrossed in it, right? And right when Jason popped out one time from the catwalk, I dropped this cafeteria tray right into the center of their table. Boom! Like that. And these young ladies, their popcorn went everywhere. There were hands up in the air, and they didn't know what to make of that. So that's what I remember about that. But I wonder if I only did that like the second year or something. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. I do remember I was doing part of that.
Yep.
I do remember trying to get Rocky Horror there, and they just like flat no. I don't understand why. It was a classic. My mind is boggled.
They probably heard what went on at the State Theater down in Ithaca.
What are you talking about?
They used to show Rocky Horror as the midnight movie, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
During high school, the entire soccer team would go down to the State
No, I
Theater
played soccer. I never went there. No.
or the Ithaca Theater, right? And that place would be like knee to waist deep in like newspaper and crapola after the movie.
I'm going to send a lie detector device straight to Phil's house for the rest of this podcast.
That's right. Because there's this infamous story about shutting down Rocky Horror downtown that involved a police car and a chicken.
Huh. That I don't know.
Well, you didn't have any chickens, neither did I, so it wasn't either of us.
Okay. Whew. I do remember that the film came to an immediate stop.
Right.
And they cleared some of the participants out of the aisleway before they would start the film again. And there were a few people that were possibly on the verge of being asked to leave. I think that is what I heard.
That rumor mill,
Might
right?
have been an Ithaca Journal entry or something on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
Yeah. So anyhow, let's.
Yeah.
I digress here. You got me
Sorry,
sidetracked.
we went over there somewhere.
Yeah, it's off into the bushes again. What are we driving, the Volkswagen Bug or something? I don't know. That's God. So anyhow, I did the TC3 thing and graduated in May of 1982.
Yep.
June 3rd, I was hired by the Village of Groton Police Department.
Groton.
So
okay. All right.
Really?
I wasn't old enough to buy handgun ammunition, and here I am carrying a handgun.
Well, it was Groton.
Well, it was Groton. Well, I did have handguns at the
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
it was kind of a funky time. How they changed the drinking age right around us. We could drink, and then our classmates behind us couldn't, and
Yeah.
whatever.
There was a window where like you couldn't do it, right?
Yep, and somehow I managed to get in that window, and I had some contacts, and so anyhow, managed to get into the Groton Police Department. I spent about a year and a half there, and Groton was an interesting place to work. I saw a lot, and a year and a half later, I got an opportunity to go to Cuga Heights, which is the polar opposite of Groton.
Mhm.
And I was there for about 3.5 years and
What,
saw
what was your exact position? What position were you holding?
patrolman,
Patrolman?
police
Okay.
officer. Yep.
Now,
So
did that include the Cornell campus?
it did not, but it was right up against Cornell campus. We had some of the fraternities and sororities in the village of Cuga Heights.
Yep.
And we had a lot of
Parties
big
and
dollar
things.
houses.
Yep.
And so so I was part of the neo-Nazi of Cuga Heights that everybody thought that and actually they were a good bunch of guys, but anyhow, it was good. It was great. The chief taught me a lot. I grew up quite a bit. And it was funny. I took the place of a guy who went to the state police. And then I went to the state police, and I went to the same station that he was at. So I kind of followed him for a lot of my career, to be
Okay.
honest. And so anyhow, I did Cuga Heights for 3.5 years. And then March of 1987, I was accepted into the State Police Academy after a bit. And then right from the State Police Academy, I was in the top 5% of my class, and they sent those people back home, so to speak. So I had home was C Troop, and home would have been either Cortland or Ithaca. I
see.
was definitely more comfortable, I think, with Tompkins County because both Cuga Heights and Groton, and I spent most of my time in
Well, you
the
grew up
Ithaca
there.
area. Yeah. But, Cortland wasn't, I had cousins and stuff in Cortland too. So they sent me to Cortland.
Okay.
Not a big deal. I did roughly 8 months in the former Cortland barracks. Now it's Homer. And after 8 months, the sergeant station commander kicked me out and says, we need somebody to go to the Marathon satellite. You're it. And I took the place of two guys, and it was a 3-man satellite. When I got down there, it was a 2-man satellite, and it was like Mayberry RFD. And I'm not sure if I was Andy or Opie or whoever I was, but it was interesting experience.
You might have been Barney.
What's that, Dave?
You might have been Barney. Yeah.
No, I might have been Barney. No, the other guy was pretty sure was Barney. So anyhow, I did that for several years. I got into teaching at the academy, and that was a temporary duty assignment.
So how many years? So how many years into your police career did you become an instructor?
Oh, let's see.
Was that like 1990 or so?
About 91 or 92. I can't
Is that
remember exactly.
Is that unusual? Is that a step up or a lateral in the police world? Or a step down?
Well, it was a break from the road.
Okay.
And, I was dealing with the same people day in and day out, because the satellite has a patrol area. When you're at the parent station, you basically are assigned a patrol area in the different part of the county.
Right.
I had the same patrol area all the time. And so then I got into teaching, and I started with breath testing. So breathalyzer stuff, DWI stuff, because they really needed somebody. And so I was the Huckleberry. And from there, I got into speed enforcement, radar and sky timer. And I was the guy that was up in the airplane circling around, trying not to lose his lunch, and timing all the people, down on the interstate. So that was kind of cool. I got to fly a lot with the aviation guys.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was cool. And then from there, I got into the EVOC, so emergency vehicle operation driving. So I had all the traffic services covered. So in 97, I had my son, in 96, and I was living in basically a 1-bedroom. I made it a 2-bedroom house down in Hartford, and knowing that my opportunities were limited, and a position came up in the academy in Albany, and it was a good opportunity, number one, to change to a bigger house, change to maybe a little more better socioeconomic environment for my kids, educational, I don't know. So I sat down with the wife at the time and says, hey, what do you think about going to Albany? And it was totally opposite of where she wanted to go. She was from Buffalo and wanted to head back that way, but we did. It worked out. A year later, we had my daughter, and I worked in the academy for 5 years and as the assistant division safety officer, in charge of the breath testing, the speed enforcement, the driver training program, or second in charge. And so I did that for 5 years. And the guy that was running it kept saying he was going to retire. He's going to retire, and he wasn't going to retire. And opportunity came up for a promotion over at the palace, at the headquarters. And so I went to work for the dark side and got sucked into division administration. I took a job as the OSHA safety compliance guy because we were having lots of problems with the public employee safety and health people, Bache. And so I had to write up a bunch of programs and address a lot of violations that Bache was throwing on the state police. And so it was trial by fire. I managed to get like maybe 2 weeks of training after the fact. So it was a lot on the job learning and on the job creativity. And I did that probably for, I don't know, I'm going to say 5 or so years. And then I was promoted to the administrative staff sergeant. So it was 3 up, 3 down. So it's like a master sergeant for most of the military. And had a couple of people that worked for me, basically in charge of statewide security, credentialing, the OSHA compliance guy was under me at that point. Leases were under me, and I was dealing with a lot of uniform procurement, a lot of stuff with finance. So it was a long cry or a far cry from what I had envisioned myself, so many years ago, but it was a good opportunity. I retired fairly well for a guy who should have been shoveling shit and digging ditches. So, I'm happy with everything. I got just under or just over 36 years in the retirement system, and couldn't accrue any more credits. So it was a good time to leave. And I said bye-bye to New York and hello, Tennessee. And I've been in Tennessee for the last 3.5 years or so.
So I was going to say, so you retired like 4 years ago, 5 years in 16.
17.
17.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So it was April, end of April 18th or something, 2017.
Okay. And that's when you moved to Tennessee?
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Why Tennessee?
Well, I'm enamored with motorcycle riding and have been for many years. And at the time, Tennessee was the sort of the destination. It had real twisty roads, had decent weather, and it was about as far as I could get on a week's vacation to and ride around and then back home. And so I was familiar with it and had, I love the Western North Carolina area, Western Virginia area.
Yep.
West Virginia, the Eastern Kentucky, and then the East Tennessee area. I just loved it. And then, you start looking around and say, okay, what is the best bang for my buck? And cost of living in Tennessee is, pretty reasonable. Taxes, I'm making out like a bandit tax wise. They don't tax my pension. And so life is good. I'm out riding a motorcycle. I've got I conned my brother and sister-in-law into buying a house together. And so we all live in the same house. And
Really?
so I've got built-in house sitters for when I'm traveling and vice versa. And they don't have any kids and I don't have a spouse. And so it all kind of works out. One big happy
Did
family.
you build your house down in Tennessee?
No. So the deal is I when I'm talking to my brother, he's driving 2 hours one way to work. And he says, yeah, I'm going to work till I'm 70. I'm going to maximize my Social Security. And I said, hey, look at mom and dad and the traveling that they did. And most of that traveling was done by 75. They did some, but the major travel was all done before they turned 75.
Yep.
And my brother loves to go to Italy. My sister-in-law is from Italy. And so we have an affinity for, all things Italian and my brother especially. So he basically wanted to be in a position where he could go to Italy at least once a year, twice a year. And of course, here in the past 2 years, that's kind of gone out the window. But but so it worked out and has been working out, or at least they tell me it works out. For me, it works out great. So it's all about me.
Your sister-in-law has family in Italy.
Yes, she's got some cousins.
Okay.
Her family moved here when she was 14. And so she's got 2 brothers here, both in Pennsylvania. Her parents moved back to Italy And both have since passed. And she had a brother that moved back to Italy, and he has since passed. So her immediate family is gone, but she has cousins and other family over there.
Right.
And,
They have
oh my
somewhere they can
gosh.
go visit, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I went over with them 2 years ago, just sort of before COVID hit 2 years ago. And oh my gosh, what a blast.
Yes.
I can't speak a lick of Italian. My brother can speak some, and the friends can speak a little bit of English, and Myra is there trying to navigate for all of us, and it's great. So yeah, so it's grand. Life is grand. I tell everybody life is grand, and I sort of feel a little bad. My Facebook posts here I try to keep them light and upbeat, and places that I go and people that I see and things that I think that other people maybe should be interested in seeing. And I don't know, I try to share that, and sometimes it works out. And I really am blessed. So,
well, I do follow your travels on Facebook. It's very interesting, some of the places that you've seen.
Yeah. Well, I've been to your place once, and I got to get there again. But of course, I also heard that you frequently make trips to Asheville. So I'm also waiting for one of those. And I feel badly because I was racing up 4th of July weekend to spend with my daughter. And I go right past Butler, PA. And I'm like, I know, right?
Yeah.
What the heck? So now that I know, I got to plan a trip in conjunction with a visit to my daughter.
Yep.
Dave, you're on my list, man. I got you hard.
From your lips to God's ears.
Well, I appreciate the time that you stopped in when the band was playing down at the beach, right?
Oh, it was awesome.
That was a great time. It was really good seeing you guys then.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a good night. And I think you also came by one time and we had dinner in Chapel Hill. You guys were looking at schools, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I believe that was the Sheets trip.
Oh, you go ahead. No, go ahead.
Was that not?
There might have been a Sheets stop here or there. Yes.
I love Sheets.
Yes.
I love Sheets.
I remember the kids saying that they couldn't believe the gas station was named Sheets.
Yeah, well, yeah. And what's up with that Royal Farms? You get fried chicken at Royal Farms. You guys know anything about that?
Yeah, in Delaware, on the Eastern Shore.
Delaware and Maryland.
Yeah. Royal Farms chicken is excellent. At least it used to be when we were there. Excellent chicken.
Yeah.
Used to be.
I don't know
what it is now. I haven't been there.
I had it once, and kind of like gas station sushi to me. But
when they first fired up down there, because Wawa was the big thing, and then Royal Farms came in and kind of wiped Wawa out a little bit. And their big claim to fame was their chicken, so everyone was buying their chicken like crazy. What's the status? What's the status of your kids? I want to hear about your kids.
Yeah. Oh, geez, my kids. Yeah. Well, they're still above ground. My son.
2, right?
2 kids.
Yep.
1 son. 0 population growth. Me. I have, I forced him into college because in my world, you got to have at least an associate's degree for anybody to even look at you. And probably was a mistake. He went to the Hudson Valley Community College and took electrical construction and maintenance. And this kid is not crazy about heights. And what do electricians do?
Yeah.
Anyhow. So he graduated from that, and he did well. But right after that, he enrolled in Cobleskill and in the diesel mechanics course. 2 more years of college. So he got
ground. Yep.
So he got trade schools under his belt, and as soon as he got out of Cobleskill, he enlisted in the Marine Corps, and off he goes to Parris Island. And so he managed to get through Parris Island, and they asked him where he wanted to go. He says, yeah, someplace on the eastern seaboard would be nice. So Okinawa it was.
So
I guess
that's how it works. They go the
East,
opposite way
Near
around.
East,
Yeah.
Where do you want
East,
to go?
Near East. I don't know. However that all works.
Yeah.
So
If you go the other way around the world, it works out. Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Way
he's
east.
a half a day ahead of me. So
Yeah.
you know, right now it's 10:30 in the morning on Tuesday. So um, so the whole internet thing is pretty cool because I can text him back and forth, and once in a while I actually get a chance to talk to him.
How long has he
It's
been in
pretty
now?
cool.
How long has he been in?
He's been in 2 years. Yeah, he's been in 2 years, a little over 2 years.
And what's,
So
what's his career field?
he's motor transport mechanic.
Okay.
And he really wanted to be a construction combat engineer.
Yeah.
But there weren't any openings, and so they said, "Hey, Motor T is," and he wanted to be an operator, so they made him a mechanic.
Yeah.
So you know, Marine Corps.
It may open up later. It may open up later for him. You can.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You know, he's got basically 2 years left, and it's going to be all in Okinawa. And he just got back from South Korea. He did a little over 30 days in South Korea, and came back. But you know, the whole COVID thing is really jipping him on a huge experience there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not able to see. You know, they're confined to camp a lot of times. And when he was in Korea, he got hooked up with some of the ROK Marines, and the ROK command staff says don't hang out with those guys. And so then COVID hit one of the guys there, hit 7 of the guys, I guess, or 8 of the guys. And so then they did what they were supposed to do, and then right back to their billet, and had to stay in their billet, and then they'd go back to their work, back to the billet. And that's all they did. So he didn't get to see anything or do anything. So it's kind of a shame. But on that note, he did manage to get to what we call Hacksaw Ridge and Okinawa. And that was some of the real heavy battles for the island of Okinawa. And
Okinawa is stunning. I can't tell people enough. If you get a chance, when you go over to PACAF, Okinawa is just stunning.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, all he gets to see is Kintown. That's it, just outside the main gate. So, so anyhow, yeah. So that's what he's up to. He's kind of got gypped there. My daughter, 2 years younger, she went to SUNY Buffalo, graduated summa cum laude from Buffalo with a biology degree, and she managed. She had something lined up with the U.S. Navy, and COVID hit, and everything got canceled. So she was jobless, and so she managed to pick up a job with a firm called AMRI, and it was, you know, she spent about a year there, and it had its challenges. And just recently, she took a promotion and another job at a place called Thermo Fisher. It's a multinational or international corporation, and she's making more money, a better position. And so far, I mean, she's only been there about 3 weeks now, but she seems to be happy about that move so far. So,
What's
it.
What she want to do? What was her ultimate goal? Because does she have an ultimate dream job?
Two choices: either be a doctor, medical doctor, or be a researcher. And was flopping back and forth, and I think she's finally decided that she's going to stick with research. And and so that's the focus she's going to go, and hopefully she's going to be able to get the job to pay for future education. And so she's hanging on and seeing what that all, you know, transpires to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, fantastic. So family wise, things are just honky dory.
Okay.
Yeah, I was telling Sherry. I said, you know what? I told her we were gonna, you know, have a conversation with you, Sherry Crispell, and I said, I realized I know very little about you, and now I'm like fully brief. I mean, other than hanging out, but you and I really didn't hang out in school a lot. You hung out more with
Nope.
Dave. Other than skiing, seeing the hallway, but we weren't in the same queues, the same groups at all.
See, I was from the other side of the tracks, Dave. That's all there was to it.
What's interesting, well, to me anyways, is where you lived. You lived next to the Blackmans.
I did, yeah. Right across the street.
So Melanie Blackman was my sister's maid of honor at my sister's wedding in 1971.
Ah. Wow.
But other than that, I mean, I knew where you lived, and I knew you were associated with Dave. I knew you, but I didn't know anything other than our slight interactions in high school. I knew nothing about you.
Well, interesting that you even bring that up, Dave, because I feel the same way, not just about you, but a lot of our classmates. I've been fortunate. A lot of our classmates have decided to cut ties and move on and put high school behind them, and I sort of understand that, and that's good if that's their thing. I'm a glutton for punishment, so I keep going to the reunions and I see who shows up, and I learn more and more, and I find out how stupid I was maybe back in high school, or maybe intolerant or just oblivious, or you can put any label in there and it probably fits. And I have gotten to know some of our classmates better as a result of these reunions and spending time with them, and I have a lot better feel for what they were going through at high school. And sometimes we all get wrapped up, and we still do. We all get wrapped up in the day-to-day, whatever it is, and kind of think about our only small little cosm of the world. And so it's kind of surprising to find out some of the things that our classmates have been through and had to put up with while they were going through school. So
there's a lot of that.
I would agree 100%.
Yep.
And so I'm grateful for the life that I've had. I feel that I've been blessed. I had very loving household parents, and we didn't have a lot of money, but we certainly did a lot of things that a lot of other people haven't. So but I remember I remember growing up, and if I wasn't baling hay or shoveling sidewalks or mowing lawns or delivering newspapers, I was that was a way of life, and my dad always, if you wanted to buy something, he always said, wait, put the purchase off for a little bit. And if you still want to buy it like a week later, then, go ahead and buy it. So you didn't have those, immediate, whatever. Oh, I got to have that Mad magazine because I don't know. And, so, I had a good childhood, and, some people didn't as good. So.
I'm going to pause right there for a minute. I got like a 2-minute warning.
Oh, cool.
And so I sent a new link and we can restart the meeting.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to end this meeting and start the next one.
You know how difficult it was for me to get in this meeting, right?
I'm sorry, but I
just get it done, Constable Phil. Just get it done, okay?
I'm just milking the free system, right? Because I'm not paying.
We're not paying for the ultra version of this silly thing.
That's right.
What happened?
All right,
Okay,
so we're back in.
Yeah, how come I lost all three of you, or all three of us on the bottom there? Let me see. Oh, look at that. I just have to push a little plus.
You got to push the
I got
button,
you all
man.
back, man.
Yep.
Hey. Just
So
like old home days.
So from this point of this little podcast, we're going to have a safe word in case anybody wants to stop something. So the safe word for today's podcast is mandible. Now Dave will not
Is that a musical instrument?
Dave will now use mandible in a sentence. Go ahead, Dave. Dave will now use mandible in a sentence.
I played the mandible with.
No, you can't play the mandible.
Well,
How about a womanable?
There were two things that jumped to mind, and one was, sometimes when I'm getting old, I have to
What? Getting old?
now that I've gotten old,
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
in the morning, I often have to stretch and do my mandibles, right?
are these your mandibles? Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Well, that
Your
that's-
mandible is your jawbone. Freaking dorks, I swear.
Oh, quit lying, Jax. You don't know anything.
Oh my God. There we go.
Oh gosh.
No, that's the word. In case anybody has to stop this thing for personal or professional reasons, mandibles is safe word. They'll be a quick at it. We'll go from there.
all right.
So I perused the yearbook, Phil.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm a little
I got it out because I was
Yeah,
prepared.
never
You did
never
to
say that.
share.
Never say that on the computer again to me. Never say it, just like you did. Never say that
Prepared?
word. No, I got it out while you're on a Zoom call. Never say that.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't say I whipped it out. I said
Okay.
well, never
I-
mind.
Yes, I've got mine as well. I've got mine as well out. Okay.
now I feel left out. I should go round mine up somewhere.
But I'm a little miffed. I'm a little perturbed. I scanned the entire yearbook. You, class president Phil, did not sign my yearbook.
That's all right. You didn't sign mine either because
You're so full of shit.
No, you didn't.
Did
And
I
Dave
really?
Seymour didn't
See,
either.
and there's the issue right there. That's what I'm saying. The paths never crossed.
Other
I don't-
side of the tracks, man.
So hold on. In all fairness, Dave, if you were the opposite gender, you would have signed my yearbook. Just
I know.
saying.
I know. And interestingly enough, I have more females to sign my yearbook than males. So I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
I know.
I also found it interesting, and this is really, I want to find this picture here.
I'll tell you something else, Dave Jackson.
What?
That if you played in the band, Phil would have signed your yearbook
That's
or
probably-
sang in the
that's right.
choir.
We're saying in the
Yes.
choir.
Because
Yes.
I mean, we used to go on band tour, right? That was a
Yeah.
great source of we played jazz bands around the county and stuff.
Absolutely.
We had a good time in stage band there.
Yeah. The women's undergarments just flew up on the stage.
We were making
Oh
quilts.
no, that was
That
when
was-
I saw you playing. That's right.
That was a club in South Carolina. Listen. So I don't think that's your father, correct? In the yearbook?
That's my dad. Yeah.
That is so awesome. That is so freaking awesome.
Now that was like prom or something like that, right?
He was a,
that was our junior prom. My
Junior
mom
prom.
and dad chaperoned junior prom for us.
and
There you go.
interestingly enough, other than the stage pictures, clubs and whatnot, you were in the yearbook twice. The non-stage pictures. One of you, of course, chilling there in the chair. Yep. That's across from the guy that tried to across from the teacher that tried to bribe students. Um, and the other one is you in the middle of our pictures, right there.
Yeah. And you know what that one was? I think I was in the office talking to Sandy Small, and somebody came along and tapped on the glass,
Yeah, took the picture.
and I went,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, your
I
mouth
think
was-
that's what that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, who has the most? I did count. Who has the most top two pictures of our semi little bunch of group of people? Two people. Who are they? They have the most, not in group photos. What do you think it is?
Most appearances in the yearbook,
Yearbook, but not of group photos, not of stage photos.
individuals.
Individuals, yes. Who do you think? Top
Randy
two.
Beck? No. Ron
Kenny
Jackson.
Johnson.
No, it wasn't one. No?
Steve
I don't
Mark,
know. I get-
Jeff Markell, and Steve Plord.
No, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't
You know
they
why?
work? Didn't they
Because of
work on the?
soccer.
Huh?
No, I don't think they worked on the yearbook. No,
I think they worked on the yearbook. They got them in on purpose.
or they were dating somebody that was on the yearbook committee.
All right.
Could have been. Could have been. Yes.
So I got another train of thought. So Phil,
Oh, I'm gonna get run over.
do you remember
Do
what's the
you
earliest
remember
recollection
when she
of
moved?
meeting me?
Oh, geez. So, so you and I went to the Freeville Elementary to school together.
That is true.
And I don't, I don't remember what class,
Mhm.
but I know that we hung out some
Yep.
in Freeville Elementary School, but I can't remember what class.
Well,
So-
here's what I remember. Now, in third grade, I had
Wanda Wilson.
Mrs. Wilson.
Yep.
And I believe you had Mrs.
Wanda
Purdue.
Wilson. No, I had Wanda Wilson too.
Are you sure?
Yep, and Robin Bailey was in our class, and she got chicken pox, and we all signed a card for her. For some reason, I remember that. I don't know why.
All right.
Yeah, I had Wanda Wilson.
Yep. All right. And I seem to remember people would confuse us because we were both very blonde at that time in our years as either
Yeah.
brothers or twins.
Well, it could have been.
It
Could
could
have
have
been.
been.
Yep.
So indeed, yeah, huh? That's interesting. I thought you
Yep.
were down the hall in third grade. All right. So then, do you remember?
Is this the story, Dave? Is this the story that you told me the other day?
No,
Oh, okay.
this is not that story. This is early.
Thank God.
That's a great story, though. Go ahead. I'm sorry to be
But
interrupted.
I'll tell you what I remember.
Statute
I
of
remember going
limitations.
over to your house on Cook Street, and your mom would offer me, or I would ask, or one or the other, right? Hey, you want to hop on the back of the motorcycle? And she would give me a ride around George Junior Republic. We'd go up the hill around Marcus's apartments, farm and stuff like that, come down the big
Yep.
hill and come back around and go on Cook Street. And that was the highlight of my young life at that point.
Wow,
absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
Was getting
2 wheels? Absolutely.
2 wheels because your mother used to ride.
She did, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
where I sort
right?
of got.
What's that?
Yeah,
Your dad rode too? Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
He had a Honda CB 175. I can't remember her first motorcycle, but the one that I remember is a Yamaha 200. It was a 2-stroke, purple and white, and that was pretty good.
That's
Was
awesome.
there a green motorcycle at your house?
Blue. That was a Honda.
Okay.
That was a
Yes.
blue one.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
So, and as a result of that, my parents forbade me to have a motorcycle. Forbade me. And
Because they
for
rode.
some reason,
Yeah.
and for some reason, I managed to stay living in mom and dad's house, rent free,
Yeah.
and until
So getting out.
well after, yeah, and I do remember coming home with a motorcycle, and nothing was ever really said about it, and yeah, then the motorcycling thing, just kept going.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't have any motorcycles or go-karts or nothing, mini bikes at our house.
Well, you didn't have any place to ride at. See, we had the railroad yard down there, so we had the go-kart. The next door neighbor, Danny Armitage, he had the mini bike.
Yep.
Of course, the go-kart, the wheels kept falling off the darn thing, and the
Right.
clutch would lock up. And then my brother got into Volkswagens, and we had the Volkswagen body off from it, so it was just a pan. And of course, that always was rotted, so the pans were flopping in the breeze as you're going down whatever it was. And
Yep.
of course, at the time, my dad was justice, or had just become, or finished becoming justice, and we were anyhow. So
Was your dad the justice in Freeville?
he was, yeah,
I didn't remember that.
yep, and that's probably why I took the career path that I did. We had the sheriff's deputies come in to hand off their tickets, and he held court in the dining room, and then
Wow.
the troopers came in and handed off their tickets. And as a little kid, I'm looking up, and they had their big cowboy hat on.
This is in your
Yep.
kitchen on Cook Street.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So he did that a couple of years, and with a house of 3 boys, it probably was smarter to not be justice, I guess. Not that we were bad kids. Well,
No.
I had
No.
a moment or two in my life, but yeah. So yeah.
So I know, Dave, you gonna talk about another story? I'm dying to talk about that story.
No, you can't talk about that story. That's off limits.
You're supposed to say mandible, dumbass.
Mandible.
Mandible. Mandible.
Now, I
So-
will tell you one other story that's fit to print. Is that occasionally Tom had a green Ranchero, right? Or
Yeah.
I had a frog on the side of it, right? And more than once, we
That's
There, baby.
great. Look at this. That's great.
and more than once we got into the Dryden drive-in, and then we would
Underneath
go,
the tonneau cover.
yeah, and in the back bed, right? Or we would go down Lower Creek Road, down those like twisty turny roads. We'd be sitting on the tailgate and most likely exceeding the speed limit. I was having to explain to my mom why my sneakers wore out after brand new sneakers had them for like a week, right? Because you're dragging these sneakers, dragging your feet going down a Lower Creek Road.
So interesting about that Ranchero.
Uh-huh.
That was special ordered by Brent Hollister.
Yep.
Brent Hollister sold it to another guy.
Uh-huh.
That guy sold it to my brother, Tom.
Yep.
Tom sold that to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
sold it back to the other guy. The guy's name is Lynn. And Lynn sold it back to Brent. And Brent Hollister still has that today.
What?
The same car.
The same one, yep.
Wow. Yeah,
What
because
year is that car? What year is it?
1970. It's a 1970 Ford Ranchero with a 351 Cleveland 4-speed.
Yeah.
No power steering, no power brakes. It was
Yep.
That's remarkable.
But I remember zooming around on that thing on occasion.
yeah. Yep.
So this is the point of the potty here that I'm going to show you a picture, and you have to put this picture in context for us. Now, I have permission to show this picture from the other person.
Mandible.
Yeah, mandible.
Mandible.
You can't mandible this one till I show the picture. So this is during our senior trip.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna show you the pictures here. Now, what's the
Yes.
context there, young man?
Well, she looked like she was having a bad day. I was just trying to give her an uplift.
An uplift.
Yeah. I was trying to brighten her day.
She's in sad clown makeup.
She-
Look at that. Look at that picture. That's great. Wait, who is that?
Yep. Same one.
No way.
Yep. Boom.
Boom.
Crashed.
That looks like maybe a senior trip sometime. Where? No?
Senior trip.
Senior
Yep.
trip.
So it was rumored that there was a hotel room where the bathtub was filled with ice and adult beverages. And then that was the place. So when we got the knock on the door, the chaperones were handpicked by Buddy Lang for, their anyhow. And
For their leniency or for their strictness?
yes.
For their flexibility.
A. So
Eh?
so
Is that Randy Beck? Who's that?
no, that's Buddy Lang.
That's Buddy Lang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Look at that. Wow.
So he's knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, it's bedtime." And he opened up the door and there's like, I don't know, got to be a dozen people in there. And somebody handed him a adult beverage and he says, "See you later." So
Well, keep in mind though that that was when the drinking age was 18.
that is correct. Yes. Yep.
So,
So
I would argue probably most of the kids on spring break were of age, right?
yeah, let's go with that.
I'm gonna go with that, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. All right.
So I know at some point you're going to get to Jeff Markle, and and you can ask Jeff. Let's see, can I do this right? Ask Jeff
Yep.
what he was doing. That was the tour director who came with us, Jack Lapino, Jeff Markel, Todd Williamson, and then Brian. Mental pause. Anyhow, and look at them, just like flies on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was cute.
She was cute. I remember her. She was cute.
Oh, that's
Yep.
Brian Stout.
Stout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian Stout. Yeah, it's Brian.
Stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. And then here's another senior trip picture, because you guys were already talking to Sherry Case about the senior
Yeah.
trip picture. So I figured I'd get a few of them out that
That's
were not
awesome.
incriminating to me. So
All right.
Did you
And,
see hang on, did you see this one from the last podcast? That's
no,
Lori.
I
Lori Munson reading a penthouse sitting next to Jeff.
didn't see that one. No, you talked about it, but I didn't see it.
On the train.
I love Lori Munson.
He's great.
So there's the whole group. Of course,
Yep. I got that picture.
snapshot. You can't tell who's who, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Was that the train station in Florida,
it was. Yes. Yep.
or was that in New York somewhere?
Well, that was
Nope,
Florida.
that was Florida.
Okay.
Yep. We got on the train in New York City. Took a big tour bus down to New York City. Dumped us off at
was Grand
Central. Grand Central.
It was Grand Central. Yeah.
Grand Central.
Yeah, to pick up
And
Amtrak
then,
and go south, right?
Yeah. Then we changed trains in DC and then went all the way down to
That was
where the
horrible.
heck in Florida.
That was a horrible train ride. That was horrible.
But it was the first train ride for probably everybody. maybe the
Oh, yeah,
last
probably
one.
everybody. Yeah. I mean, it was exciting to go on. Like after the 50th mile, you're like,
Yeah. So, all right, one more picture.
go ahead. Whoa.
Wow.
What are we wearing there? What's okay? Break that down.
Hard hats. So
Hard
this is the jazz band. I got Dave Seymour on the end, Joel Bender, Roger Dick, Don Alexander, Mark Boyama. I got Pam Mecca and me.
Wow.
So bring it up again. That's great. Why the hard hats?
Well, because just for shits and giggles, we wore hats or bow ties or vests or just something to be different.
Who's that in the bell bottoms? Who's that in the bell bottoms on the left?
This one?
Yeah.
That's Mark Boyama.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to get a scan of that, Phil,
That's awesome.
and show that to my lovely wife.
That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So okay. Good. Pictures are done, safe. I diffused everything with
Yeah, that's cool.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah. So this is usually the point where I do some really weird cultural thing and music thing, and I'm just gonna go ahead and bypass that. I had something loaded up. I'm just gonna go ahead and bypass that. But
oh, thank God, because me and music.
yeah, I know.
Very eclectic, but
No, you know what? I'll do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. This is an
Oh,
easy
shit.
one. This is an easy one. This is an easy one.
yeah, right.
At the very least, Dave will get this. Okay, here we go. This isn't a lyric. This is a famous Queen song. What is it that fat bottom girls do?
Make the world go round.
Close.
Oh, damn.
Dave,
Make my world go round.
close.
You make the rockin' world go round.
There you go, young man. There you go.
Because because I knew they were making things go round.
Yeah.
But what were they making go round, right?
So interesting segue here.
Okay.
Queen happened to be my first concert
Oh,
ever.
Okay.
And the gal that I was dating at the time, she was a big Queen fan, and I was into Barbara Mandrell and the Beach Boys.
Okay.
So Queen was really wasted on me at the time, and I have been able to appreciate much more. You know, Freddie Mercury at the time was too far out there for me. Now I'm like, holy shit, I got to see Freddie Mercury
live, right?
live.
wow.
And
Wow.
and of course the contact high from that concert in the Syracuse War Memorial was still with me the following day. But
I was going to ask you that. Was that 1980 in the War Memorial?
I don't remember what year it was in the War Memorial. I think it was before 80 because of who I went with. I'm thinking it probably was.
So you were still in school when you went to this concert?
Yeah, it might have been 77 or 78.
Now, did you drive yourself?
No, I was too young to drive.
Okay, so that makes it earlier then.
Yep.
Because Leon and I and a couple other folks went to the War Memorial in Syracuse to see Queen approximately 1980.
Do you remember who the A band or warm-up band was?
I
Thin
don't.
Lizzy for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because we saw, I believe, it wasn't FM. Now, because I thought they warmed up for Rush, but because we saw moving pictures there as well. I don't know who the warm-up band was. I should know.
Yeah, it was Thin Lizzy and then Queen, which, again, was wasted on me at that point in my life. But oh my gosh, I'm very appreciative of that high school classmate, and it was an experience that was underappreciated at the time, but greatly appreciated now, as with many things in my life.
So this particular concert, I just looked up my concert tickets, was September of 1980. So this would have been the first September in TC3.
Okay. Yep.
So anyway, that it's probably a different concert if you did not drive.
Yeah, that would be correct. At that point, I think, 1980, I might have been doing Charlie Daniels or Beach Boys or, any of those. It's hard to say. Chicago, I did. Guys were rocking. I was a little old school still. So I still am, I guess.
I can understand that. Yeah, we went to, Binghamton, Rochester, and Syracuse and Barton Hall for different concerts.
Yep.
The four major venues back at that time frame.
Yep. Back in the days.
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing I went to Binghamton for was to take the state police test. Anyhow. So, all right. I'm sorry. I digress. I got you derailed. So
no problem.
Fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go round.
Correct. That's correct.
Thanks to Dave Seymour.
Yeah, for nailing it after you gave him the hints.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to figure out what the difference between your answer was and the correct answer because it was this close.
Yeah. So close.
Story
of my life.
A lot of the customers I have in my car, when I do name that tune for prizes, they'll get the title like really close. I'll say almost. I was like, oh, that's bullshit. That's the title. I'm like, no, it's not. It's almost.
Almost.
Sometimes if they're really bad at it, I just give and say, yeah, you're right.
So if they nag you enough, they get the candy bar. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't want a bad rating. So whatever. Here's the Whoppers. Go.
Now, Phil, I got one more question for you, or one more story, and see if you remember this story. Now, we came back from some band trip, and we had the Chevy Chevette at the high school. My sister was involved, and it was me, and I'm pretty sure you and Joel Bender. I could be wrong. And the Chevy Chevette ran out of gas. Now, do you remember pushing it? We pushed.
Beth was steering.
Pardon, Beth was steering.
Okay.
We
Would make
pushed that
sense.
car almost all the way from the first major hill at George Jr. up the hill, through the campus, up the hill, and down around the corner and coasted back to your house.
Wow.
Do you remember that story?
No.
No, because
No.
you guys were standing on the back bumper. We'd get it going, and then we'd coast down the next hill, right? And we would all hop onto the bumper.
Oh gosh, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
Nope, it wouldn't surprise
that-
anybody.
yeah, some of this, yeah,
Some of those things, right?
There were a lot of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of them. So yeah, Dave, Dave Jackson, the Dryden people, I really didn't get a chance to know, like Dave Seymour,
Right.
you know, until we got over to Dryden School. And then, you know, the Freeville guys kind of hung with Freeville guys because we knew each other.
That's who we knew, right?
McLean guys hung with McLean people. And then, you know, eventually, you know, fourth grade was kind of tough. Fifth grade, we got a little more immersed. Sixth grade, you know, by that time we were fully, you know, melded into one happy high or middle school family, I guess. So I would say that most of my contact with people from the Dryden area happened, you know, between fifth and sixth grade. Don Alexander and I became real good friends in fifth grade.
Yep.
And
And
you
then
know,
we started skiing with Don in sixth grade.
Yep.
And,
Absolutely.
We started the ski, you know, we were in the ski club and we take the bus up every Thursday or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And what a blast, you know,
what a feature, right? To have nearby.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I do remember us getting our ski passes pulled once, Dave Seymour.
At least once.
I
Because they used to
only got caught once. I don't know about you, but I only got caught once.
How shall I say, they used to punch a hole in them. And if you got, was it 2 or 3, they'd pull it for the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, you know, I think it was, I want to say it was like 150, 180, something like that for a season's pass.
Yep.
And so
I didn't have the season's pass, so I was the pay by night. And we'll just take that sucker.
Yeah, well, it was like, you know, I was working, Roger Dick was working, and so we were able to fund our skiing trips, you know, in 11th and 12th grade. I think we have passes because we had our licenses and we could get up there enough to make it worthwhile.
Yep.
Up to Greek Peak. And so there are lots of Greek Peak stories.
Oh yeah. Yep. There are a lot of those.
Yep.
So
a lot of rescues.
Yeah. If that's the way you want to put it, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I met a lot of other kids from other schools.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
This is like some sort of weird cryptic code. And I'm just sitting there going, I skied with my wife. Blanche taught me how to ski.
So here's what it was, Dave. Dave Seymour was an excellent skier. And so I was stupid enough to try to stay up with him. And, you know, he wasn't going to outdo me. You know, I'm going like this down the hill and he's going.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm like, and so many of our classmates would be, you know, down, and depending on who it was, we'd either help them up or we would cover them with snow. And
I'll go with that. Well, I was going to mention that was the same night that I believe Ithaca kids came up and skied on Thursday night.
I believe you're correct.
So we met a lot of how should we say, folks from the other schools
Mhm.
of different persuasions.
What's with you guys?
And it was a fun time had by all,
It was a fun time had by all.
right?
And-
I think
and-
we used to carry
And Dave
lollipops.
Jackson, you were skiing with Blanche, so you were having a fun time.
I mean, you know what's funny is either because she was a grade ahead of us. I was either skiing with. Seems to me I was either riding the lift with either my future wife or Don Alexander, and then every time I was riding with Don, he'd see Dave coming on the slope. He'd go, "Oh, there's Dave." I'd be like, "There's Roger." I'm like, okay, I get it, Don. You don't want to sit next to me. I get it. All right, we'll be at the top of the hill. We'll be at the top of the lift shortly. Stand by, man. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. And Don was a pretty good skier too.
Oh, Don was a great skier.
Yeah.
You know, Roger Dick was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don was just huge. I mean, he was a big guy and a gym, you know.
You know, and on occasion, since his skis were so long, we'd swap skis.
Oh yeah.
Right? So you could go straight down the hill. Then you know, Roger Dick was an excellent skier, and he was an instructor for a while, for a couple of years up
Yep.
there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
So
Yeah.
always something.
Yeah, the ski club was really great. It was, like you said, it was a great thing to grow up with.
It was so much fun. I couldn't wait for Thursday nights. I couldn't
Oh.
wait for Thursday
Yeah.
nights.
How
Yeah.
could you not enjoy that, right?
The
Yeah.
prep before school to get your gear to school was just fun. Just couldn't wait.
Oh gosh.
A wonderful
yeah.
time had by all.
You had to show off your
absolutely.
you had to get your new ski pants for that season. Couldn't wait to show off your new ski jacket. What kind of goggles do you have? You know, all that stuff.
Well,
No, skiing jeans and an old orange jacket.
Yeah, the
That's
first
it.
the first 2 years, the first 2 or 3 years I did that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get some ski pants, man. I can't be doing this jeans
Yeah.
thing, man.
Eating that Greek Peak chili, you know, for
Oh,
dinner.
love that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got any questions for us? Anything you're curious about? Anything you want to learn or know before we close this puppy out?
Well, let's see. Riddle me this, Joker. You've got 20 to 30 good years. What are you going to do with those 20 to 30 years? What are you guys doing? You're retired, semi-retired now. What's on your bucket list now?
You want to go first, Dave? Go ahead.
I'll go first. So, you know, both my kids have moved back to Raleigh. They had both moved away. My daughter was in Ann Arbor for a while. My son was in Philadelphia for a while, for a couple, 3-4 years. And so they've
I
all
thought
moved.
Ellie was still, she's a vet, right?
She's a veterinary technician. She's working for NC State in the hospital.
Oh, okay. I
And
didn't
so,
realize that.
yep. And so she's working there, and she's bought a house. And so we're doing work on her house. You know, we're helping her out with that. You know,
Okay.
putting in hardwood floors, redoing kitchens, stuff like that. Wilson is engaged. He'll get married fall of 22. And so we're in the process of planning that. Going to do it up in Asheville, as a matter of fact.
I remember you telling me that. I can't wait.
And
That's
so,
great.
yeah. So other than that, you know, Pam and I are, you know, doing what we can around our house. And then, you know, we're trying to travel a little bit, see people, see friends, see family. And so, you know, I only retired end of the last year. So, you know, it's been a COVID year, and we're kind of limited, you know, where and what you can do with who when, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, my mother is still up in Rochester and assisted living. And so
Okay.
we're going up to see her in October. So we're hanging out, we're doing what we can.
All right.
We're-
So
we're-
long term though,
Yep.
you got a bucket list thing that you want to do?
I'm still working on that bucket list. You know, I'm taking it as it comes.
Okay.
And so the most of the thing is we're really looking forward to traveling more. And that has been limited. So we were trying to
Yeah.
figure out whether to get an RV or something like that, you know, and try that out a little bit and get around.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Mhm.
Dave Jackson. Tell
So I'm my full blown retirement will happen in 10 months when I'm done with Verizon. So my game plan is, well, my daughter and my provisional son-in-law and the 4 kids live right here in Butler, right across town. So our big focus is on
Yeah,
grandkids,
family.
all that kind of family.
Mhm.
And but I owe my wife so much time, from especially from the military. I mean, I was just gone so much, and I just owe her. She couldn't go with the places I went. And right after I retired from the military, the year we graduated, the year we in 2000 when we had our first high school reunion. Well, not our first, but the one I went to.
Yeah.
I didn't have to work for a couple months, but I went right into working again because I can't live off Air Force retirement pay.
Right.
So I went back to work, and no, my game plan is to pay back my wife for all the time she had to raise the kids and raise the family and do without me. I owe her the world. I just need to travel with her. So the game plan is when I retire is just get her out of the house, make sure Chris and everybody's okay, and just do what Dave says, just go travel, go see things that we haven't seen, and just wake up one morning and say, hey, let's go to blah blah blah. I can't wait for the moment like what you're doing now. I can't wait for the moment I can wake up and just say, tomorrow I'm going to the Grand Canyon. Tomorrow we're going to Italy. Tomorrow I just can't wait for it.
Yep.
In
And one
3
of the
weeks, I'm going to Palm Desert.
See, and one of the dumbest things
Yeah.
we haven't done yet is her and I can go to Dover Air Force Base and fly for a few coins to any place in the world if there's space available seats. We haven't done that as a retiree. We haven't gone to an AMC base and said, hey, you got any things on that jet that's going to Italy or Germany? And we haven't done that yet. I'm looking forward just to doing that. But I just owe her time.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So let me plant this seed in your mind, guys. Ellen Stefano, her married name escapes me, or current name, Ellen Stefano, anyhow. A couple of years ago, went to Africa, went on a safari. She posted some pictures, and I remembered how cool was that. And then this last trip, I met up with some state police friends, and they did a Nat Geo safari 2 years ago. And it was pricey, but it was a safari. They got to see Victoria Falls. They got to see like lions up close. They got to see giraffes. They got to see elephants. They got to see, you name it. They got to see it up close. And you owe Blanche. What a great way to pay her back.
Yeah.
And Dave, what a great way for you and Pam to spend some time. So,
that's exactly it.
Let's think about this a little bit, and maybe we can, book the same thing and have like a mini reunion, and I'll get eaten by the lion pride.
Yeah. We'll sacrifice Phil. I like it.
You got to catch me first, man.
So
all right.
Put me in the wheel with your motorcycle. And then
I'll tell you real quick. We got less than 1 minute left.
Okay, go.
And we can start another meeting and do it again, or we can.
I think we can wrap it up.
We can sign it up. Sign off.
Yep, wrap it up. Dave says wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Phil, this was great talking to you, man. I really appreciate you joining.